I just love the sensation this entire headline gives me. Liberal woman fled Donald Trump's America and accidentally moved to a third world country. Now she wants to move back. Please don't come back.
If you're an American who is considering leaving the country to move somewhere else, make sure that the location you choose isn't based off of fear and lack mentality.
You stupid love of the earth. You can't possibly tell me that your research was just, I hate Trump so much, let me just figure out somewhere else to move. Lady, Canada, Mexico, like any place close by that would still cost you a lot of money, you could have just went there. Where are you?
I regret moving to Costa Rica.
Yeah, buddy, you're not coming back.
It's a beautiful country. I love the nature and wildlife, but moving to a third world country where I don't know the language, I don't have any connections, resources,
Stupid.
or opportunities, that
Dummy.
didn't make my life any easier by any means.
No shit, Sherlock. You wait, so because you hate Trump so much, you decide in your mind, let's just move somewhere. Don't know nothing, can't speak the language, don't know where to buy things, don't really know how to set your life up to stay there and live there permanently. This is just, it ain't even funny. I thought I was gonna laugh at this. This not even funny. This is pathetic. Cause now you didn't set yourself up for failure. And what are the chances that you don't even have a job to make sure that you stay afloat?
I was just so scared of what's going on in America politically that I was in fight or flight. I was like, how am I gonna afford to survive? Like, how am I gonna find a place to live? Like, I was freaking out. And then I came here and made my life so much harder. And now I'm trying to go back, and I just like wish I didn't leave in the first place. And it's so weird to like want to move to America right now with everything that's going on. But
oh, well, you see, in America, you can actually figure out like a place to live. If you don't want to live in like one of the big cities, you could live like 2-3 hours away from them, and that'll be a little bit cheaper. Yeah, you'll still have to deal with the population and how good and bad that tends to be. Maybe you'll have to deal with that climate and how in certain areas it could be dry as a desert, and then in other areas it could always be raining. But, you know, at least you'll have potentially like people you know, and a way to get a job without actually having to learn a second or third language, and not have to run out of money without maybe potentially a backup source. Because, you know, I'm going to assume your life and say that maybe you have family that could possibly care about you, but you don't care about them because you just packed the fuck up and went to Costa Rica and thought that you could have the time of your fucking life. Excuse me, but just one question for everybody. Does money just dry up at some point? Because I would think to myself that if you just pack up and move somewhere with no real plan to set yourself up financially, yeah, the money you brought with you is eventually going to go away, and no one's really going to throw money at you too much, you know, unless you like tickle the taint of people's emotions in that way so that they could potentially be at your side. But you would have to have that plan, and madam, you didn't.
I just left so many privileges and resources behind, and I want them back.
White woman, white privilege.
But I kind of grew up in an interesting way. I was like the poorest person in the wealthiest rooms throughout most of my childhood.
Don't matter. Twitter told me you're white. You have white privilege. You're richer than me. I'm the poor black man. I'm higher on the totem pole.
I was extremely wealthy till I was like age 6. I had this beautiful waterfront mansion with a private beach and pool, and then my parents got divorced and I ended up with a parent who didn't have money, so we were,
I bet you $50 it was the mom,
living out of like trailers and hotels and lower income housing. But I was still in these really wealthy situations. Like I was in private school and cotillions and dance lessons, and I always thought that I was so poor because I was the poorest person that I knew. And all of my friends had like millionaire and billionaire parents. Now that I've traveled, I've seen like real poverty, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't poor. But as a kid, I had these really luxurious vacations through my friends and family members where like my first introduction to Costa Rica, it was like when I was 17 years old. I came with my friend's family and we stayed at exclusive resorts. We were having lunch at the Four Seasons, and like,
and you didn't have to pay a dime because, as you just said, it was your friends being there with you. It was your friend's family vacation, and you're suddenly realizing that you don't have the money to live that lifestyle because you got probably convinced by a bunch of ugly, dumb motherfuckers who got dents in the middle of their head that, oh, we could finance our life and we don't have to pay anything unless we're paying $100, $200, $300, $400 a month to make it seem like we're rich and convince you poors that we're better, because that's the gimmick on social media, in case any of y'all didn't know.
Like, same with my Hawaii experiences. My family friends took me and we stayed at the Grand Wailea and the Hyatt, all these really fancy luxury resorts, and we would explore the areas too, but you know, living in Nanavale or Pahoa is very different than taking a vacation at the Grand Wailea or Four Seasons. So, you know, my travels and moves, I've really realized how privileged I've been. And there's a lot of things that like made me run away from LA and Orange County, some traumatic experiences and terrible people. But I left a lot of resources and great people behind, and I need to be in those environments again.
Oh, this is what I'm getting the vibe of. Spoiled rich kid got a little taste of what it's like at the bottom with the rest of us, having to work a little bit harder for that extra satisfaction of the cool, crisp George Washington dollar bill, and she can't stomach it. And whatever resources that she has, she used them all to travel to Costa Rica in order to get away from the orange man and his bobble-headed sidekick, in making sure that she remains safe away from all the problems in America. But in doing so, realized a very important thing as it pertains to moving, whether if it's into an apartment in your state or moving out of state, moving several states away from your home, or in the context of this, out of the country. You need a fucking plan. And when you don't have that plan, what happens? You, for some reason, have this great realization that, oops, I didn't really think this through, and I need to go back to my roots, and I need to go back to the oppression, because I could stomach oppression, but I can't stomach being poor. I can deal with the tyranny of potentially my rights going away, but I just can't be without those resources. I need that vacation to Honolulu land. I need to go see the resorts. I need to get the cocoa nuts with the bendy straw. I need to be in that climate, because I can't be around all of this poor. I can't be around all this broke. I can't do it. I hope you spend a disastrous long time planning how you're going to get back. And in that time, I hope that lavish area you're in the background, I hope the check bounces and they kick you out. That way you can understand a little bit more of life and how that privilege that really wasn't yours, it was really your family's, and how your friends too. I hope you understand that people had to work for that. People had to garner opportunities so that you could mooch off of them in your teen years and maybe also a little bit into your adult years. And at that point, in that realization, you can come back with a sharper perspective on how you should be using your money in responsible and irresponsible ways. But until then, put them fucking big titties up and make sure that you are well financed for the future. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Mwah. Goodbye.
No kings. Unless it was during the pandemic when all the mom and pop businesses were shut down, but the government said it was totally fine for all the major super rich corporations to continue operating. But I didn't really care, because as long as I could get my Starbucks and go to Target, I was fine. No kings. Except during the pandemic, when we told people that they would lose their job unless they took a certain medical product, or they couldn't even go into certain restaurants without vaccine paperwork. That was crazy, but I didn't really care because I just complied. No kings. Remember when we also told people that they had to not visit their loved ones that were sick and dying in the hospital, the elderly? They had to die alone. That was really sad. We shut down the schools, completely wrecked the developmental learning for a whole generation. I mean, that was tragic, but we don't really talk about that because that's over now. New outrage, kings. Remember when we were told over and over if we got that medical product, we for sure would not get sick. And even though the people that got it immediately did get sick, we were for sure told they wouldn't spread it. And then that gradually became, well, like 95%, like 75%. Okay, there's no evidence it does what we told everyone it does, but we've already made everyone take it that would anyway. And no one really cared because it's new outrage time, no kings. And do you remember during that time, anyone who tried to bring attention to these issues on social media was censored or their account was banned? And limiting free speech at that time seemed okay to me. I didn't really think about it. No kings. You don't hate authoritarianism. You just hate what you're told to hate by the algorithm and the news outlets. Be so for real. I just wish the anti-authoritarian energy was present during actual tyranny from both the federal and local governments during that time. But no, of course not. And it's not authoritarianism if the majority of the people voted for it, both popular vote and electoral votes, people wanted the border secure. So settle down and start thinking for yourself. Turn off the TikTok. It's gonna be okay.